Hey guys, so the other day we were talking about the Alex reveal, as well as the new game modes and features being added to Street Fighter V in the March update, but also included are some bug fixes and game balance changes to the game. And I wanted to make a separate video for this so I can explain it in a little more detail so you guys understand exactly how this will affect Street Fighter V. So let's go down the list one by one as it's shown on Capcom Unity. The first bug they're fixing is sometimes you don't get XP from casual matches. That's self-explanatory. Second bug, on a rare occurrence, if you restart the game after you unlock colors, the colors you unlocked will disappear. Also self-explanatory. And just a little tidbit, guys, Capcom did announce in an interview that they are going to allow you to purchase additional colors for your characters when the shop opens this month. Okay, so the next three bugs are character specific and they're not really that big deal to know, but I'll explain some of them anyways. The first one is Vega. If you hit V-trigger Bloody Kiss, the anti-air, in certain situations, Vega will no longer continue to rise off the top of the screen. So as you guys have seen before, there is a glitch where if Vega is able to hit somebody with his down V-trigger as the character is basically on the other side, Vega's character won't be able to collide with them because he's supposed to go through them after the V-trigger, and because of that he'll just go straight up and keep looking for a model to collide with, and he'll just keep flying up in the air. It's really silly, but like I said, it's not really, it's something that it could happen in a real match. It is possible, so of course it's a bug worth taking out. The second one is M. Bison. If M. Bison is interrupted by an opponent's V-trigger or critical card during his invisible frames of double knee press in V-trigger mode, M. Bison will no longer remain invisible until his next move. I honestly haven't seen this bug myself, but it's not really relevant to, like, you know, recreate it because it's just something that we don't want Bison to be invisible. Rashid will no longer float in the air for a moment if you perform his V-trigger after he touches the ground upon a missed Eagle Spike. Eagle Spike is a move where Rashid kicks across the screen, a flying kick. So these bugs are not, like, you know, game breaking, but they're just bugs that could occur in a real match, so Capcom is just taking them out. So not really relevant. Alright, so the next bug is about ChunLi, and this is about an option select. So in case you guys don't know what an option select is, an option select is pretty much when you do a sequence of commands that have multiple outcomes, usually favorable. So a really easy example is, if you guys remember in Street Fighter 4, when you crouched and did a throw, if no one was throwing you, you would simply do a crouching leg kick. And if someone tried to throw you and you inputted a throw while crouching, you would tech the throw. That is considered option select because it's one sequence and it has two multiple outcomes. One, if they're not throwing you, you do an attack, and two, they're throwing you and you tech the throw. Another example of a really easy option select is, let's take Birdie in Street Fighter V. Okay, so Birdie, if you do his standing medium punch, it's a really slow normal. And if you input his bullhead, so core circle forward punch, right after you press medium punch, you go medium punch and you quickly do bullhead, core circle forward punch. It won't come out. Just as medium punch will come out. And you can just keep doing it. But if the opponent walks into the range of your attack, which obviously he wouldn't be blocking, or if he sticks out an attack and your medium punch hits it, all of a sudden the bullhead will come out instantly because you're inputting it in between. This is called a buffer option select. So those are two really easy examples of option selects, but once again, it's just a sequence of inputs that has multiple outcomes, like I said, usually favorable. So back to ChunLi, the bug is, during V-trigger activation, the hit stop and block stop has been made the same for multi-hitting moves. So in case you guys don't know, ChunLi's V-trigger, when you activate it, her medium and hard versions of her attacks become multi-hitting, and they're making it so that hit stop and the block stop are the same, otherwise you're able to do a lot of option selects. So you guys might be wondering what hit stop and block stop is. It's really simple. So when you do an attack, when you hit somebody with it or when you don't hit somebody with it, there is a difference in the duration. When you hit somebody with an attack, there's a sort of oomph to it, and it takes longer for the move to process visually. That's called hit stop. So a really good example is Ryu. When you do his forward hard punch command normal, you can see it looks quite quick. The entire animation of the move, it looks quite fluid. But once you come in contact with the opponent with it, all of a sudden it's like boom boom. It's these two slow hits, and you can see that when it hits, it actually takes longer for the entire move to complete. This is hit stop. And if they're blocking the attack, it's the same. It also takes longer to complete than if you miss the move entirely. It gives that kind of oomph, like I said, to fighting games. Makes the moves look more vicious, but at the same time, it also makes it easier to cancel that move into the other. It gives you a visual longer time to do it. Now, specifically with ChunLi, the hit stop and block stop for her multi-hitting attacks in V-Trigger were inconsistent. Sometimes the hit stop would be longer than if they were blocking, so the block stop, and because of that you're able to do some option selects. So one of the examples that Capcom Unity noted is that she was able to perform an option select involving her standing hard punch into her super. So I tested this out myself, so I activated V-Trigger with ChunLi, and what I did was I inputted the super quite slowly after I did a hard punch, and if they blocked it, the hit stop wasn't as long, so the super doesn't come out when they block it. But if they happen to get hit by my hard punch and I inputted the super with the same timing, which was really late, since the hit stop was longer, the super comes out, making it an option select. So if they block my hard punch, my super does not come out, and if they get hit by my hard punch, the super does come out. That's why it's called an option select. And like I said, they made the hit stop and the block stop the same so that this wouldn't happen. So basically they wanted so that if I tried doing this, if they blocked it, my super would still come out and I get beat up for it, right? And if it did hit, then it would come out because it's the same timing. It's important for Capcom to try to take out these option selects from the game. It's virtually impossible to take out every option select from a fighting game. It's just way too complex. There's option selects for everything, but take it out as much as possible because you want the game to be cerebral. You want it to be about reads and guesses and intuition. You don't want it to be about just inputting a sequence and it'll come out only when you need it to come out. You don't want that in a fighting game. So I'm glad that Capcom is changing these right away. Okay, so the next balance change they're doing is a pretty big one, I feel anyways. They're making the vertical and back jump frames one additional pre-jump frame across the entire cast except for Zangief. So let me read this. Vertical and back jump frames. All characters except Birdie and Zangief, vertical jump and back frames have changed from 3 to 4 frames. Birdie's vertical jump and back frames have changed from 4 to 5 frames. Zangief, no changes to jump frames. Okay, so first off, let me explain jumping real quickly. So when you jump in Street Fighter, the second you press the up button, or up direction, you do not instantly leave the ground. That's not how it works. There's actually pre-jump frames. So right now in the game, for most of the cast, besides Birdie and Zangief, there are 3 pre-jump frames. So what that means is it takes 3 frames before your character actually lifts off the ground. And if you are hit during these pre-jump frames, you are still considered on the ground and you get hit. On the 4th frame is when your character actually lifts off. Now during these pre-jump frames, you are actually invincible to throws. So this is why when someone knocks you down on the ground and they try to throw you, if you're holding up, you'll completely avoid the throw, because even though you're not exactly off the ground, you are invincible to throws in your pre-jump frames. Now what Capcom is doing is they're adding an additional pre-jump frame before you take up off the ground. So like I said, right now everyone is 3 pre-jump, 4th is lift off. When this patch comes out, it'll take 4 pre-jump frames, and then the 5th will be takeoff. And then Birdie and Zangief will be the same with 5 pre-jump frames, and then the 6th will be takeoff. Now if you guys are wondering why Zangief has so many pre-jump frames, it's because when he's able to do his pile driver, he hits a 360 motion, and it gives you more time to input this before you actually leave the ground, so you're able to do the pile driver more easily. That's one of the reasons. Now the reason they're doing this, as stated on Capcom Unity, these changes reduce the effectiveness of throw tech option selects involving jumping, also known as jump grab. Changing 4 jump frames would affect the game balance too much, so those remain unchanged. So there's already a few option selects involving tech throwing and jumping. So when they're saying jump grab, they're talking about certain option selects where the sequence involves you're able to jump and you're able to tech a throw at the same time. If the guy doesn't throw you, you will jump out. And if the guy tries to throw you, you will tech the throw. And then sometimes you can even block an attack because you're stuck in block stun. So what they're doing is that they can't take this option select out without like just breaking shit. What they're doing is they're reducing the effectiveness, they said. So what they're doing is they're making it longer for you to jump, so that when you are jumping and somebody hits you with an attack, it will be a higher chance your character will be stuck on the ground, and thus you'll take much more damage because you can get hit by a grounded combo instead of getting hit right when you leave the ground and you flip up in the air and they can't continue their combo. So this makes it much harder and much riskier to do, basically. Now you guys might be wondering, how can you be thrown if you're holding jump? What I mean is the option select covers that after you're actually thrown. So the window when the opponent actually has already grabbed you, that's what the option select covers, because you can't jump once you're actually grabbed. Now keep in mind once again that this is only for neutral and back jumping that they're changing the pre-jump frames for. Forward jumping will be business as usual. Most of the cast will be 3 pre-jump frames jumping forward. So long story short, it's going to take characters longer to leave the ground by just 1 frame, which might not sound like a lot, but this could help certain grappling characters such as Armika, Zangief, Laura, because since it takes you longer to leave the ground, if they're sticking out a normal, they're frame trapping you before you leave the ground, they have an additional frame where you're not actually in the air and they can clip you right on the ground and you can eat a ground combo because of it. They can use slower normal attacks to keep you on the ground, basically, because you're there longer. Another example is like, let's say you're playing online and somebody jumps at you and you want to react to that and jump backwards and do an air-to-air attack. It will take 1 frame longer to do that, so that might hurt you a bit. Like I said, it's only 1 frame. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it might add, well, it's definitely going to add some additional frame traps to the game for sure, and help out some meaties as well. Also, it's worth noting that in Street Fighter 4, it's actually 4 pre-jump frames to jump in Street Fighter 4, so this patch will actually change it to like Street Fighter 4, except of course for the forward jumping for most of the characters. Alright, so the final bug they are fixing in the patch notes is throw escape change. This is involving another option select. It says if you push buttons during the normal throw delay tech window, you are unable to escape throws for 2 frames. Prevents using light attacks to option select with throw escapes. If you execute specific special moves during the normal throw delay tech window, you are unable to immediately escape throws. Each character's V skills, V triggers, V reversals, critical arts, and moves have been set individually. Prevents throw escape option selects involving specific moves such as Shoryuken, etc. Alright, so let me explain this delayed tech window. So in Street Fighter V, when someone inputs a throw, it takes 5 frames before the throw actually comes out. Once that 5th frame hits, the opponent grabs you, and then he's in the animation of throwing you, and then for 7 frames, that is your window you have to actually tech the throw and stop them from throwing you. After that 7th frame, the throw is considered 100%, and no matter what, you're getting your ass thrown. So what Capcom is changing is that if you input something during that 7 frame window that you have to tech, an input, let's say you input like a crouching light punch. If you do that for 2 frames, you are unable to tech the throw. Now this stops a lot, there's a lot of option selects right now, but I'll give an easy example. One option select you can do is you can do a crouching light punch and then immediately, I mean like right after, 2 frames after, input throw. And what happens is if the opponent tries to throw you, you will press the light punch and obviously it won't come out because you're being thrown, but you're also pressing the throw, which techs it. If the opponent doesn't throw you, then the light punch comes out, but you won't throw yourself because it's during the animation of you actually doing that light punch. So you can do this with a lot of other things like Capcom has mentioned with special moves. So you can actually, they use a weird example, like Shoryuken is a weird example because, you know, usually the invincible Shoryuken will beat a throw. But if we use an example like, let's say Laura's tackle, okay? Her EX tackle. If you input that and then with a throw at the end really quickly, you can actually tech a throw if someone tries to throw you, or the move will come out. Well, it's not as simple as I just explained, but I'm sure you guys get the idea. The whole point of this is that Capcom is trying to remove a lot of option selects from the game because there are a ton a ton of option selects in Street Fighter 4 that were very bad, man. That really dulled the game down a bit, I feel. And they don't want Street Fighter 5 to have that, especially when they're really trying to make it, you know, competitive. So it's good that Capcom is addressing these bugs as soon as possible. Like Capcom said, they're not going to do huge game balance changes with characters until the end of the year. But in terms of bugs, they can, you know, patch this as soon as possible. Now, like I said, there are still a lot of option selects being discovered all the time, man, just because the community is so huge. Even just the other day, an option select just came to light. It was discovered a while ago, but there's one basically with Ken. He can do his standing light punch and cancel it into a special attack such as his light hurricane kick, and if the opponent blocks it, it won't come out, and if he gets hit by it, it will come out. And basically you just have to input it really quickly, not instantly, but really quickly. I'll show a video example of it, and you can use like the EX Tatsu, for example, on that as well. There's also another bug where you can actually cancel when you do a reversal with a special attack, and you cancel that into a jump. So you tiger knee motion it, you'll actually maintain the pre-jump frames in your special attack and make your special moves throw invincible. So for example, with Laura, if somebody knocks you down, instead of going core circle forward 2 punches to do her EX tackle, you can go core circle forward to up forward, so you tiger knee motion it, press 2 punches, and it will be an EX tackle that's also invincible to throws. And I'll show a video example of that as well. You can even do it with Armika, man. You can her EX Flying Peach, man, you can just cancel that into a jump for the reversal. There's some things that I don't know what Capcom's gonna do to prevent it in the game. It's inevitable. Some of them are obviously not crazy game breaking, but they're being discovered like all the time, man. There's tech being discovered every day, so it'll be almost impossible for Capcom to get rid of it, is what I'm saying, but at least they're doing something about it. So this video is getting pretty long. I guess it's time to wrap it up. Let me know how you guys feel about these bug changes and how you guys feel about the extra pre-jump frame for your characters, if you guys will like this. Maybe they'll buff up the grappling characters a little bit. We'll see. Till next time, guys. Peace.